So I'm in the middle of nowhere, far from any major city. The phone signal is poor, no 3G, the internet is painfully slow, and I've chosen an environment like this because I think there's something special that happens when you're out in the wilderness like this. When you step away from the rush and the noise. I think there are times where we struggle amidst all the noise and the responsibilities of life. And with every year that continues, this noise just gets louder and louder. And managing some sort of balance couldn't be more important. And in my quest for balance, the next couple of weeks for me will be crucial. It will be a time for some much needed deep thought and reflection. As each day of our life approaches, our daily activities, mostly being work being the majority consumer of your time, can be a daily source of enormous joy and meaning, or it can be an endless grind wearing you down. When we're in a world where there's always one more thing to do, one more email, one more phone call, one more issue to resolve. I mean, who really has the time to really deeply think and have the willpower to stop, and when the urgency of work, family life is constantly knocking at your door? Today we are always contactable. Updates, news, notifications are also present. Our minds are filled to maximum capacity, and for once I just don't want to know. I can feel myself slowing down already. I'm approaching this experience as a form of decluttering for the mind. Just like you would declutter your home, when you tidy you have more space to do what you wish. A reorganization, if you like. We all have a mental bandwidth of what we can cope with, and at times it just gets overloaded, overscheduled and overstimulated. A feeling that we are all so used to. And if you've tasted calmness, you know what it feels like. It may only last a moment, but it's these moments that we unknowingly crave. Moments of peace, where you can focus on whatever you please to do. Balance is the calm breath at the starting line. It slows down your surroundings in slow motion. And you start to notice the little things, the details, seeing everything in plain sight. There's no confusion or ambiguity. When you have balance, there is an unwavering confidence you have. When you're clear on your conviction and you follow through with your intention. I generally think the more balance we have, the more likely we are to feel happier. It's imbalance that leads to a lack of focus. Like riding a bike and maintaining it upright, you instinctively recognize when you start to sway too much in one direction, and in doing so, you make micro adjustments to correct yourself. Finding balance is probably the best antidote to the chaos of our thoughts. To anyone who has achieved something that they are proud of, or when you approach your big moment to shine, it's the calmness of the balance that you tap into. I look for the calmness when I'm trying to figure things out. During my time here, I've tried to keep things real simple. My mornings consist of doing the total opposite of what I usually do. So my task is to do nothing. Normally I'm automatically thinking of the laundry list of things that need to be done. I must admit, it was difficult at first. But after a few days of forced stillness, I now look forward to drinking my tea in the sun and just listening to the birds and the rustling of the trees. Don't reject the boring and the difficult. It may be not exactly what you want. Once upon a time, I would have rejected a trip like this. I even would have rejected a holiday, but it was only by my hand being forced that I started to go on trips. And only when I relinquished control, I found peace in enjoying my surroundings. And still to this day, I remember the first moment when I allowed myself just to be. And only then I thought, this is it. This is what life is. Being fully present. I remember an immense appreciation of the now. It was one of my most cherished memories, finding balance. And at the time, I didn't realize the significance of that moment. In that moment, doing nothing, the boring, which I'd historically rejected all too often. It's almost not enough to decide to limit your inputs. As any normal setting, you would have an onslaught of distractions to filter from. It's bound to have an effect, a cost being energy and attention that could be better spent elsewhere. And by experiencing this power cut, I'd inadvertently stumbled across an idea that could be implemented alongside limiting your inputs, which is delaying information. Not consuming any type of update in real time. It would be the space between me and distraction. The unimportant would remain unimportant, and anything important was still waiting. Delaying information in theory closes the open door policy on your attention. Balance is slow, always in motion. A constant in life yourself is perpetually trying to seek. So much frustration is built up when we hurry and have knee-jerk reactions to things we have no assurance to. It's hard to magnify the details of your actions at high velocity. You're going so fast. Urgency can be beneficial in small doses. Lifestyle only leads to burnout. When you slow down, you spend more time reaffirming simple things. Sleep, eating well, doing those basic good habits. When you take the time to savor the moments, you hear what only needs to be heard. When you take your time, you allow yourself to build reserves of energy, ready to be used at any given time. Life is cyclical, especially when entering a different phase of our life. And at the start, it can feel imbalanced. The reality is, the pendulum of life is always swinging, back and forth. And at times we may not feel like we have control, but it always swings back to the center.